Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is Books Forever After, where I sit on my floor and we talk about everything and all things books and nothing but the books. Okay, so September, as always, just didn't go as planned. I only read 6 books, technically 5 because one of them I really just finished the last chapter that's just been hanging around for a bit. So yeah, let's just talk about the 6 books I read in September. Well, I don't know. Time got away from me, as always. I don't even remember. It's the end of October and I'm getting better at wrap-ups. Faster than normal. But time will only tell us how good my memory is as we talk about these. So hopefully this video isn't too long because we only have 6, really 5 books to talk about. Totally not related to romance or whatever, but I read Cues by Vanessa Van Edwards. I listened to this as an audiobook on Audible. Unfortunately, used a credit for it at that time. And yeah, this one it's been a while. I was listening to it on my commute to work and back for the past few months, and then I would listen to other ones as I was reading. And so this one I was just like realized I never finished. So I had about, I think, an hour left in the audiobook still to go. And I was really reading this because Cues, as you can tell, is like how to master body language and what you are giving off for your body language, because I was going through burnt out for work, and I know if you've ever been burnt out at work, you think you are going insane and like there's something deeply wrong with you. Yeah, so I'm recovering. So let's just say I'm a recovering burnt out person, and in my road to recovering from being burnt out, this was going to be very helpful because I find also I was suffering with, it's still a growth for me, but being a little neurospicy, whatever. It's hard to portray to make sure that you're giving off what you intend. And I say this as I'm on the internet, but here in my own, by myself, it's fine. But in the group, in the professional world, you find you have to mask and things like that. So I can be a little bit more competent than warm sometimes. And so this was kind of helping me to do that. So really, it was good. It was, 3 stars, but I feel like it was one of those like key sound bites, really, which I think a lot of self-helps kind of think are. That's why I usually don't tend to lean towards them, because I feel like they are just sound bites, snippets. They don't actually provide tangible, I would say, tangible learnings from it a lot of times. So be that as that may. So for this one, it was okay. And I would say it was helpful to understand at least the differences in the blend of being competent and warm, when to go more and whatever. So yeah, it was fine. So yeah, I read that for work, my professional life, and yeah, I don't know if I would recommend, but I would, if you could, get it from the audiobook from your library. And then the next book that I read was part of our Mood Reader Book Club, which was The Wolf King by Lauren Palphreyman. And this is making its rounds. It's been really, really hyped up lately, and it's been considered as like a Outlander fantasy romance, with wolves. And I would say yes, this is very journey driven, very character driven. There's not a lot of plot, so to speak, yet, but I can see how that will develop in the next one. It's really just an introduction to the characters, to the world. It's not heavy fantasy, so if you're a historical romance reader, it feels like a Highland romance. And the audiobook, if you can get that and immersive read, this is what I did, I highly recommend that. It is duet narration, which is really nice, although it's dual narration maybe. I don't think they read the other person's thing. I can't remember, but it was good. Maybe it is duet. I can't remember. And I'm looking forward to the second one because that is also, I think, wait, maybe I think that is duet. But there's 3 actors in that one. So highly recommend the audiobook. If it wasn't for the audiobook, I don't know if this, I would kind of feel kind of lukewarm about it, but I really, really enjoyed it. I know April probably felt about the same. And I think the other thing that's being compared to, as she was saying, it does kind of feel like spoilers for that too as well. Because then your expectations are like, this book isn't worth it to go through. So, but at the same time, that's what got me to read to read it, because I was looking forward to want to continue on to book 2, which is going to be The Night Prince. So I do have that. I'm hoping to read that one. Gosh, I don't even want to say a time. Let's hope within the next 3 months I will continue on. I almost wanted to continue on immediately after, but then I realized that the 3rd book isn't going to be happening until hopefully early next year. So we'll see how that goes. 4 stars. It was a fun time. And yeah, so I don't even know what the kind of, I would say, yeah, it's kind of like an Outlander. It's a princess, or I guess the lady, oh, she's a princess. Yeah, I think she's a princess. Her dad is like the king, and the night where before she is supposed to marry this other arranged marriage guy who's like a horrible person, she's forced to attend this fight between wolves that they have, and one of the wolves she felt really sympathetic to and wanted to stop the fight, and the hero was fighting that one as well. So when she goes in to try to help the, I think I want to say younger wolf or whatever, who was injured and whatnot, ends up encountering the hero, and that is the night that he gets out of the prison and kind of whisks her away, and kind of and that's how that journey kind of happens. And it has a lot of like political things. I did enjoy the end, the action at the end. I'm interested in seeing how this one plays out for the next one. And then my only 5-star of the month was Lord Scoundrels by Loretta Chase. This is one of those OG that you just like, if you love historical romance, you gotta read this, and I am so glad that I did. I can't wait to really get like the original. This one just doesn't have a step back or anything like that. I adored this one. I love a tortured hero, as we all know. Who I don't, and I love the heroine. She was so strong, and I can't believe, like, she literally shoots him. So this is just hilarious. So strong characters. I love when a hero is like traumatized and just like doesn't, grovels almost, but no, like he doesn't want to believe that he's falling for her, but he's like a rake or whatever, and just is dragging his feet, but like it's inevitable that he's like so in love with this woman. Like, it was just awesome to see. So like that battle of that, and she's trying to protect her brother, is hanging out with him, and she doesn't think he's, you know, obviously he's a rake, he's not exactly a good influence, it's gambling and things like that, and so, which is, you know, causing issues, and so she's doing her best to try to keep her brother away from the hero. So I just this was such good, so good. The tension, the drama, I mean, it felt like being whisked back into what made me love a bodice ripper type romance. It's a little darker, without being so over the top, but it has over the top moments, but it felt so believable because the characters were just drew you in, and because of them it made you believe it and believe in this world, and just that whole fun time. So yes, 5 stars. Really enjoyed this one, and yeah, I'm glad that I finally read this one. As we know, the first Loretta chase that I tried, I DNF because it was like one of her newest ones, and I'm so glad that I made the correction and went and read this one. And this was parted by 25 in 2025 as well. And then next I read on KU, it just released, and I read the books 1 and 2 the previous month, and that is You're Next, which is the book 3 and the finale and the Devil's Backbone. This one was a 3-star. I like dark romance. This is a why choose, but I feel like if you've read one, you've read them all kind of a thing. This also has secret society, so I did enjoy that part, but it really felt kind of light. The relationships and the spice, I just felt kind of bored. If anything, the suspense plot kind of kept me in for the most part, but other than that, I just felt kind of bored with the other kind of stuff. Books like these, I really don't feel like they need 3 books. Feels kind of dragged out in that aspect, so I kind of would have liked this just to have been like a duet or something, even though I really did enjoy the cliffhanger in book 2. Book 1 had its own cliffhanger as well, but yeah, I think that was really what reeled me in. Book 3 was just, I don't know how else to say it, but like, yeah, the plot side of it was like what drew me, but like the relationship romance part, I could take it or leave it, to be honest. And yeah, so this takes place, it's a new adult, it takes place at a college, and her mother marries this man, and so she has a step-brother, and because of this marriage, she's going to this college, and she finds these series of letters underneath her in her dorm from a previous girl who had gone missing and whatnot, and know nothing about her, and just like her journal and that whole thing. So you kind of follow her with that, and it involves the Devil's Backbone or the secret society kind of thing. So it kind of evolves like that, the whole mystery, the secret society part, which I really enjoyed that part, as I said. So yeah, I could really just take it or leave it. I'm not mad or disappointed that I read it. I'm glad that I appeased my curiosity of it, but I would recommend reading it if you really just wanted to have just something fun and different, and you want a little bit of a secret society. This would fulfill that. But if you're anything else, I don't know, it's kind of one of those maybe kind of a situation. And then before I talk about this last one, I'm going to go and continue in the same vein and talk about Corrupt, which was the last book that I read this month. This is book 1 in the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. This one, again, take it or leave it. It was a 3-star. 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I think what I'm a little apprehensive about is this, I think, follows a series of couples. So in this aspect, that's kind of okay, I guess. And I'll see how, I think book 2 is Hideaway, so we'll see how I like it. She always had a crush on this guy, but apparently this one was good. Okay, this one has a weird secret society thing or like mafia thing. So she has this crush on this guy and part of her brother's friends group, and something happens that they all go to prison or whatever. So she becomes like this friend group a little bit. They have this wild night, crazy night, they're all doing shenanigans, and something happens and they're all locked away except for Michael, which is one of the friends, and he's like a basketball star, billionaire, whatever, years later or whatever. So this kind of like follows that on them wanting revenge on her. So that's why I really enjoyed it. I'm just apprehensive of how it's going to pan out with the following ones, but it was an entertaining ride, but I don't know if I would reread it per se. I did actually, I think later earlier, like just a couple weeks ago, the whole series and a lot of books of Penelope Douglas went free on Kindle. So I snagged all of them for free as well, so that was really cool, and some other books by her, so that was cool. And so now I know I don't have to go and buy the book anymore, so that's good. I would just recommend getting it from your library if you can, but it was a fun time, and I'm pretty sure these are on KU as well. Maybe not. I don't know. All right, and finally, this last one, I don't even know. Guys, I'm so confused. And I finished it. So this is why I didn't read that much, because this one is like 800 pages, 730 pages. This is a chunker. It's a new release, or re-release, because it was indie published, and that is Fairydale by Veronica Lancet. I love the cover. I love the OG cover as well. And this was a new release, and I think it released in September as well. And I got the ARC from NetGalley. So as we know, I think I talked about it in my TBR video for September, is I didn't think I was going to get the ARC, and I already was like really anticipating, and I love gothic romance, and that was what it was told. I mean, that's like my one of my personalities is gothic romance. This was a little disappointing. This was a 4-star. This took every single side street turn, somersault that you could imagine. It had everything that I loved about gothic romance. It had my very specific weird, and I loved it. And it gave me almost the chilling adventures of Sabrina from Netflix. Almost to that. Up until you get like 70%, like 50, 60%. I was here for the weirdness and the mystery and figuring out what the heck was going on. But when it was revealed, finally, and all the additional somersaults and flips and second turns and wrong turns and reverse and forward that it decided to take, was really disappointing and still really confusing. It felt like this can be a genre bender, so it is really a fantasy. It does have fantasy elements and even sci-fi elements. It was doing too much. Way too much. I enjoyed it. I wanted to love this so much, and because I enjoyed it so much for the most part, that's why it's a 4-star. But I'm never going to read this again. The curiosity was appeased. I almost would have preferred this be this one in this example. I was super excited because it was a standalone. It was doing too much that I feel like it needed to be a duet, or maybe even a trilogy. It was so busy and so much things. It was dragging, and at the same time, so much was happening. I want to go to the spoilers. So before I do that, I'll just let you know what the premise is, but just so you know, this is like not even the tip of the iceberg. It goes so much more than just this premise. And a lot of people, for good reason, are kind of left blind. And I think you kind of want to, but I kind of would have preferred someone to tell me because I did not want to be left in the blind, really, because it wasn't really that worth it to me to find out what the ending of this was. So the main premise is this starts in the 1950s, where this woman, her father dies, and she is basically called to come to this town so that she can be there for the reading of the will. And what occurs then is this town is weird, it's creepy, and the people are very weird and creepy, and it's very chilling adventures of Sabrina. So there's just some weird paranormal things going on, and some drama and bad stuff and whatever. Some family drama as well. That's the bare minimum. The bare minimum of this thing. And so if you were interested and you want to continue on, if you want your curiosity appeased, I recommend getting from your library. I don't recommend the audiobook because that also was, I kind of immersive read. You kind of had to because it dragged. But it was really frustrating, and I don't know, like, maybe because I have the ARC copy that I was reading off for the ARC, but it was also with the physical paperback as well. So I was really confused because I was reading my article for ebook, this, and the audiobook. There were lots of things with the audiobook not matching up to the book, and that was really confusing. And the audiobook had the cover of this. So I would assume that the publisher, there was probably a lot of editing, and I would assume that they would have updated the audiobook for the new version. I don't know if that's the case, and because I can't know exactly, I just know that there's a lot of chapters that were missing. The beginning of a chapter was in the beginning of the audiobook. It was so confusing, so it was really hard to kind of pick up with one medium and go to the next medium of media with this. And so yeah, that was like another gripe that I had. It was really frustrating. So I had to I couldn't even listen to the audiobook at one point. I'm like, I'm gonna have to physically read this because, and then if I found that I was skipping things, I would had to put the audiobook down and couldn't even listen to it because the book wasn't actually following what the audiobook was doing. It was just so frustrating. So be that as it may, if you're interested in reading this, I say pass. It piqued my curiosity, but I don't think it was worth it, and I'm not going to read it again. So it was a bit disappointing. But it gets huge points, is why it's also a 4-star. It gets huge points because it was original. I haven't read anything like this before. It was definitely original. I am intrigued because Veronica Lancet has other books, so I do want to maybe try one for other Gothic novels, perhaps next year. I'm definitely gonna take a break, though. So maybe I will pick up another one of hers. I think mainly she is mainly an indie author. So yeah. Now, to get into spoilers. So if you don't want to get it spoiled, and you continue on after this, it's your own fault. So to those that don't want to be spoiled, I will end it here. I will have all of my links down below in the description box. And if you don't want to let me know that, but you want to let me know that here, go ahead and leave me a... Oh my gosh. Is there a mirror? If there's a mirror emoji, go ahead and just leave that. Okay. Alright, give you guys 5 seconds if you don't want to be spoiled. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, what WTF? What the heck was this? I don't even know. There's magic and powers. The heroine finds out. Okay, so there's so much going on that it's hard to really pinpoint. But there's this guy who's a vampire from this family. She's driven to him. There's this cat that's hanging around. She's getting flashbacks to this woman back in the 1700s who has this power, and she meets the same guy. But this guy has all blonde hair, long blonde hair, but he's dark and handsome and quirky. But then these weird time jumps that she's having, these blackouts. So something is happening. With that said, now we find out, there is reincarnation in here. So, of course, that's my bread and butter. I love that kind of a thing with reincarnation. And so I'm like, oh, maybe who she was in a past life, that's how they met. But then it even goes a little bit oh gosh. What's that movie, babe? Inception. When it's a dream within a dream. Inception.
Inception.
Yeah. So it's kind of like Inception, which, as you know, I like the Jude Devereaux Remembrance. I love that in there. This one, I did not like it. I did not like that whole concept because it's different lives, but it takes on a sci-fi element. So they're from a different planet. That was just weird to me. And then her mom was not a great person. No one was a great person. So for the Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina vibes, I was okay with that. Their love affair, it felt, yes, it was epic, but because, I don't know, for me, I actually didn't really care. I didn't feel their connection, and it didn't feel very epic because we really didn't focus a lot on them. I don't know, it was just weird for the most part. And the room with the mirrors, the art, and that whole thing, yeah, it just was very strange and all of that kind of, that was okay. But it was the last thing that's like was the sci-fi. And the problem was, I think, is once we hit a certain point in the book, the author just decided they're not going to do a lot of settings. They're not going to actually still give you the vibes of the Gothic. They're not going to give you atmosphere in this other world. So now you're building this whole other world, but you're not giving me descriptions. I didn't even know what this world looked like. I was assuming it was another historical kind of thing. And then they were going in the Roman times, across eons of times in this whole thing, because she knows she has this light inside. Apparently, she has this light. It was doing too much. Like Romans kind of era. It was very, very confusing, and the time jumps just wasn't working because she wasn't actually doing a great job with the setting and the atmosphere from that point, from the small town, even to the, I love historical romance, even to, like, you could say this whole thing was historical, but even until the 18th century when she was doing that, I just didn't really, and I read historical romance all the time, I just couldn't pinpoint without them telling me what this time period was. And that was really frustrating because she got it right there, all the creepy factors, if she would have kept that there. But then she started nesting, and then that's where it started to drive me. So I can see why people DNF'd this because, or just couldn't pick up after that. And I was here for the weird, like, ooh, okay, maybe it's at this, it's at this. So yeah, I think, and we find out it was just this corrupt king or whatever, as it always is, into this world. These like aliens, like their powers that they have, it's just because apparently he is a different kind of other kind of a thing. So I can see the messages on that, and just because they're other and different, even within their own world that has magic and such. Like I said, that's too much. It didn't really feel like one story, and I think that's kind of why. Hi, hello. So, interrupting my rambling list. There, I don't know how to say this. Anywho, as I'm editing, I just realized it reminds me of Men in Black. That's really why. It was just so weird because it reminded me of Men in Black. Because you got the people chasing him throughout eons for this whole political thing. But literally, this is Men in Black. Such a weird genre bending mix thing. But yeah, Men in Black. Who would have thought? It's unique, but it was very patched together like a patchwork quilt. But it didn't really fit. And that's why. So I read this as an arc on NetGalley from the publisher. 4-star. Just don't think I will read this one again. Whew. So spoilers are done. There we go. Alright, so that is also spoilers. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to think about that one. So if you have read those, let me know. If you read Fairydale, let me know what you think. But yes, that is it. That is all. Kind of short and sweet, but really, really not. Because, I like to ramble, and that's exactly what I did. So I'm glad I only read 6 books. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will have all my links down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.